Welcome to Johannesburg. Oh, nice lighting. Thank you. And welcome to our media forum. I work for China's Xiaojuan agency.
Globally, Western media has a big influence compared to media from the developing world, almost a monopoly.
There's a very specific narrative that is displayed and shared in global media. I think it's a very Western narrative. It's a very pro-United States, pro-European narrative, and I don't think that narrative is always accurate.
The story of Africa is better told by Africans.
In the run-up to the BRICS summit in Johannesburg, the BRICS Media Forum brought together around 200 journalists and experts from nearly 30 nations to discuss the media's role in shaping a new world order. Undoubtedly, this gathering was crucial for brainstorming, fostering cooperation, and strengthening unity among diverse voices.
It is a very important forum, different relationships between BRICS countries and Africa. This is very good. A media forum before the summit.
Why do you think it really matters for African countries and BRICS countries to sit together? Because it's a big party today.
Because we are friendly, we are fair to each other. We need to collaborate to really do well in our economies.
It brings together like-minded people who are concerned about the way the Global South and BRICS in particular is being marginalized and portrayed as negatively as possible by the Western media.
One sentiment I heard echoed time and again while chatting on the forum's sidelines was the developing world's growing disillusionment with Western media narratives.
Они говорили, что обстановка сползает к попытке, когда страны Запада пытаются диктовать другим странам свою волю, пытаются рассказывать, как нужно в этих странах жить. С этим, конечно, не могут согласиться очень многие страны. В это конкретное время сейчас, сложное довольно, чтобы СМИ поговорили прежде всего о своей ответственности за то, куда пойдет мир дальше, как мир будет переустроен.
I think there are a lot of good things that are happening in Africa, and those stories need to be told. So we live on this continent, we know our successes. So who is better placed than Africans themselves to tell their stories?
BRICS media is the type of media that focus on local agenda and trying to focus on people. We don't need that someone else will share its vision about our country, because we have our own journalists.
We need to have to give the voice not only to the little part of the world that's called the West, but also the whole world that have its own opinion, its own values based on the long way of cultural development. And it's very important that another opinion, another voice to be heard.
If the West doesn't agree with your point of view, they can shut you out. It means, firstly, the Western audience doesn't get access to all of this, and secondly, it means that audience tends to shape your own home base. It's not just that the world is dominated by the Western media, it is dominated by Western media and Western business platforms. We must invest in the platforms ourselves and create joint platforms which will be able to carry narratives from both the West and from outside of the West.
Do you think right now BRICS people are misled by Western media?
There's no question that Western media and Western media platforms are misleading people in terms of conveying the different sides of the story. We must be able to compete with the technology of the West.
Different media houses within the BRICS countries can share and exchange contents.
How about platforms? Because now even we write good stories, it's hard to reach the audience directly. How could we get to them?
We have to use more social media platforms.
What we can do is to start with content syndication so that we can all benefit from each other's expertise and economic muscle. we must also focus on social media
Opinion pieces.
and opinion makers. We need to start creating and identifying our own pool of expert commentators so that you don't have West-leaning expert commentators dominating the platforms.
If you find Western media often hypocritical or biased in its coverage about the developing world or your country, please raise your hand. I see someone raising both hands.